Nvidia has decided to embrace open source and transitions all of their products towards fully open source GPU kernel modules. This comes directly from the Nvidia developer technical blog, which I'm not going to read a lot of because I don't think it's directly relevant to all of you, but I am going to tell you why this matters. I love how they have this sort of very generic representation of a rendering right here. But the details of this are that with the R515 driver, Nvidia has released a set of Linux GPU kernel modules in May 2022, along with open source dual GPL and MIT licensing. So basically, Nvidia GPU projects are going to work natively and much more effectively and much better on Linux-based systems, whereas previously they were more designed around Mac and Windows and stuff like that. And the reason for this isn't that Nvidia just loves to give away their proprietary technology. It isn't that they're so pro-community, but rather Nvidia is shifting its entire business model over to something that's a little bit more enterprise-oriented. The home GPU market's not really what's making them money. It's those AI chips and data processing and data centers and stuff like that. And 100% of that runs on Linux. And by making this open source, you make it more homogeneous across all of your systems. I'll scroll down to some more images here so you can see a little bit more technical details. And on top of that, if you open source something, what that means is you're going to be getting a lot of developers working for free, kind of like OBS, which is what we use to record this. The reason OBS outperforms other capture programs is because it's open source and hundreds and thousands of people develop for it for free. And that's what Nvidia wants to take advantage of. They're going to get better updates, faster updates, more plugins, more uses, more homogeneous across system, more Linux capability, which is going to continue to fully transition their business toward B2B or an enterprise model and away from home GPUs. In an era of smartwatches, smart refrigerators, smart juicers, and smart just about everything, I'd like to introduce smart soil, which causes plants to grow 138% bigger crops while using 40% less water. And you would think anything with the smart moniker on it is just a Bluetooth device that is there to justify increasing the price of the product by about 50%, and so that capitalists can pump ads to you so that they get some post-purchase sales. Well, thankfully, that's not the case here. This is actually a more of a supplement or a change to soil composition that's so much more effective. They're considering it smart soil because it's adaptive to the temperature. Scientists at the University of Texas at Austin have developed this, and basically the way that it works is that they added a specially formulated hydrogel to the water, which works to absorb more water vapor from the air overnight, retain it, and then as the temperature and daylight cycle and soil cycle changes, it releases that into the plant's roots during the day, also incorporating a calcium chloride into the hydrogel that provides a slow release of a vital nutrient. You can see this little sort of day-night cycle of what's going on. It's actually very simple. At night, the hydrogel literally takes the moisture out of the air and holds it, but during the day, as the temperature and a variety of other weather conditions change, it releases that, rehydrating the soil, plus calcium chloride apparently, and it makes plants grow happier and healthier. And they decided to test this out, and they found that the hydrogel soil plants showed a 138% boost in their stem length, nearly more than doubling the length of the plant, all at the same time requiring 40% less direct watering, which is extremely important because around 70% of the world's fresh water usage goes toward agriculture. Imagine if we could cut that in half down to as little as 35%, that would be great. And I don't know if there's going to be drawbacks, downsides, if there's pollution associated with this, unhealthy plants, we don't know. But we do know that the smart soil is working. It's temperature and cycle adaptive, it's energy efficient, and it helps the crops go bigger, which I'm all here for. A new study suggests that narcissists actually mellow out with age, which is a good thing. We need less narcissists in the world. I do love the image they chose here. Very classic Homelander-looking stare, classic narcissism. In case you're unfamiliar with this term, what it typically describes is a person with a specific type of personality disorder. Narcissists believe that they are better than other people, more deserving of other people. They have delusions of grandeur. They're very important. These personality traits are often described described by people around them as arrogance or selfishness. You have narcissists who feel grand or superior, who see other people as rivals and are exploitative and they lack empathy. And you have some that are shame-prone, insecure, and overly sensitive to criticism. I'm sure a lot of people reading this right now have probably had to live with narcissistic parents before. I've had my fill of that. But what's interesting about the research is that as narcissists age, they actually become less narcissistic over time and approach normal. However, they don't fully grow out of it. The study involved 37,000 people over a long period of time, and it seems to be good data to suggest that there is a trend of mellowing with age. However, it doesn't fully go away is the big takeaway from this article. So while you had a narcissistic parent or classmate or partner or ex or something like that, and you meet them a decade or so later, they might be more mellow. They won't be normal. It's a very interesting little study, and it's going to lead directly into our next video. Pennsylvania has a filial support law where children can be held responsible for their parents' unpaid nursing home bill, even if the children are disowned, estranged, or were abused. The state of Pennsylvania or the nursing home empowered by the state can sue you to pay for your parents' unpaid bills, which is just insane. I didn't think I would be reading an article from the Pennsylvania Elder Law Library today, but what I saw was shocking. I am aware that other countries have these kind of as national laws. They tend to be countries that have a culture much more focused on family and worried about children abandoning their parents. And this law was designed basically to allow nursing homes to collect fees from children when their parents run out of money and can no longer pay. It's especially important when the parents are not on or don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare, and important when the parents have gifted all of their resources to their children and then just expect the state to take care of it. So what's wild about this, there are a few exceptions here. If an individual does not have sufficient financial ability to support the indigent person, which is the elderly in this case, they don't have to do it. And a child shall not be liable for the support of a parent who abandoned the child and persisted in the abandonment for a period of 10 years during the child's minority. So one of the few exceptions you get is if your parents were not present while you were growing up. Even if they were present and abusive, that doesn't count. Even if you are estranged as an adult. According to this article anyway, not being in contact with your parent as an adult for many years due to estrangement is not necessarily enough to avoid liability. Although nursing homes prefer to avoid such litigation, they do want their bills paid. And this is something that I genuinely hate. I think the idea behind this is that children should not, there's this kind of scheme going on where your parents give you all of their assets and then they get on Medicaid or Medicare and go to the nursing home, or maybe don't and just expect the nursing home to foot the bill. And this empowers nursing homes to kind of go after children that receive substantial gifts or loans from their parents before checking in, or don't manage their parents' finances well enough to make sure that the bills are paid. But what can and does end up happening is that horrible, awful, abusive parents that were present and abusive during childhood and who you are estranged from as an adult can just be irresponsible with money. And if they know you have money and that you have the money to pay for their bills, they can sue you to pay for it in the nursing home, which just sounds downright awful. I've had my fair share of, we'll say, unpleasant parenting, and I do not intend to be paying for my parents' nursing home bills at all. God, that sounds bad to say on here. But if you know what it's like, you know what it's like. I can't imagine being like 40 or 50 and then your parents come back to screw you once again and try and take all your money for their retirement. I would just rather go broke. I would withdraw all my money and set it on fire before I would cooperate with this kind of law. And I think it's terrible. I guess this is an opinion piece. I just didn't know we had this kind of stuff in America. I didn't know that there were so few exceptions to this kind of law. It makes me not want to retire to Pennsylvania, that's for sure.